Okay, so we're just going to recap real quick. We kind of talked about the conversion, and you may, at one time, it's always just this right side that gets sticky. But we do try to unscrew each one before they come. So we just kind of sit down and then it goes into our pile to ship. So you shouldn't have any, but every now and then you just never know.
And that problem only happens if you want to remove the balls and plug directly into the unit, but you don't have to do that.
Correct. You do not have to do that. And I would strongly suggest people try it with the balls, because once it's connected, you can't unconnect it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
pretty there. So in your personal one, Jana, do you guys have 2 channels?
It's an alternating flow.
But so it would be interesting. I would love to try it, or you try it. I'll send you a quad cable. Now, a quad cable is 4 of these. So you have 2, just for your pins, but there would be 4 attachments. So
we have those.
Yeah. So then the person could actually get 2 lifts. And a lot of people do that.
Okay.
So it's
okay. We'll see how that goes.
Want that ability to have it. I was kind of
okay.
The feature is it's 2 probes in one. And the benefit is it's one hand. And when you're in the treatment room, you're going to get a text. And I don't care what esthetician you are, you're answering text sometimes, or you're sending out a text and you're saying, I'm running 10 minutes late, sit in the lobby or come 10 minutes later. It is nice to be able to still be doing the treatment, texting and setting it down. So it's really time efficient. When you use the 4 together, it's amazing and it's easy to do that. So it is definitely something that you can do. So let's talk about just Pooja's MyoLift. Okay. We don't have to even say it's a secret. It's spotty conductivity on that line, even if she's got the probes. It's just, you don't always. I think my biggest complaint when I sold it of people was it doesn't show solid conductivity, and it just is that way. It's her machine. Very, very sensitive. So I
found that with me, as long as I have lots of, I put on a good layer of conductive gel, and then I keep the skin wet. So keep spritzing with a spritz. As long as the skin's wet, I have no problems with that conductivity bar.
Then have you tried it with the lift?
Yes.
And it's good.
Same thing. With the lift, what you have to be aware is that with the lift, you tend to lift it off. And when you lift it off, it's going to show no conductivity.
Exactly.
So as long as it's touching, it's conducting, but it's still the same thing. The skin's got to be very slippery and wet.
Right. So do you guys feel comfortable as far as sales, how to promote it?
I do.
Okay.
But anybody else? I mean, we're talking about it being a device that you can use with one hand. It simplifies it. You're not trying to do this 2-hand stuff. It can be a little faster treatment. It feels good. And you can use it for all modalities. You can use it for detox. You can use it for release. You can use it for hold and lift.
Yep. So the coolest thing is, and this is back in the 90s when I worked in microcurrent, you have your probes, right? And so most probes look like this. This one looks like this, and there's a reason. When you have, and let's just say that we have a sum of 100. So this would be 50 and this would be 50, correct?
Right.
So when you are putting this on the skin, now you've got 50 amortized over this whole probe. So now maybe it's just 10 or 5. We don't know, because you've just got these connections. The reason, and this is, when I created the Anma, I did it always knowing I wanted it to be microcurrent. So I like these points. These points actually just kind of go on trigger points along this jawline. So you have, so if this were 100, this would be 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. If you're only using 2, you've got 50 and 50. If you use 3, you've got 25 and 25 and 25. And so you could gauge the strength by what you use. It also, it just fits every curve of the face. I mean, you've got your jawline, you've got your buccinator, you've got your orbicularis oris, you've got your zygomatics. You can go zygomatics just with the 2. It fits perfectly in the orbicularis oculi. So you can do the acupressure points in the corner of the eye, the acupressure points on the outside of the eye, or the way these 4 are situated, it sits perfectly in that orbicularis oculi area. And this is a sphincter muscle, and a sphincter muscle closes, right? So it squints. And so when you just do 1, current is here and it's going around, but all it's doing is kind of toning in the muscle. When we can hold the 4, now we're kind of creating a solid between positive and negative, and positive and negative, and the current kind of goes all the way around, opening that eye. So I love this spot.
I love that.
I love coming right up underneath the brow bone. And now we've got brow, corrugator, and frontalis.
Awesome.
Okay.
I hadn't thought about that, conducting between those,
Well,
just using
exactly.
those 4 like that. That's
Well,
awesome.
that's the beauty of this, is it's just a multi-use tool that replaces, I feel like it's the one Ginzu knife that does everything, right? It just does
Yeah.
everything. You can pare, you can chop. And this is that way. So here we can go, and we'll go into when you would do these movements, but you can latch underneath the zygomatic, going to the top of the zygomatic bone, holding, and typically you're getting a maximum of the 60, kind of going to the 100, because I'm not using this back, I'm not using this front. But now I want to go up to that little muscle that outlines the muscle here for the bunny lines. I'm holding right at the corner of the nose here, and I've got the 4, so I'm hitting. And then I can just sweep all the way out and up. So with these kind of things, also, these are the perfect distance apart for ultimate conductivity. Because the biggest thing is, and this is one thing, and I love Tony's probes, but when they start doing too far apart, when you start going here and you start going up here, this is a big distance. Your positive is a hydrogen, your negative is a hydroxyl, and they're drawn together. They're like magnets, right? And that's the whole point of being able to go through the cell membrane. So you've got this, but when you're here, it's a microcurrent. It's a millionth of an amp. It doesn't have the ability to travel upwards. And so you really need to have it this part, and people will really, really, really see a difference. And that's why in the before and afters, and I probably have hundreds of them, before I kind of came out with and doing, kind of, we would learn to hold, and in some cases they would say, oh, brush like this. We're not doing anything. We need the connection in order to have the result that can be done. So in your unit, you have a lymphatic, you have an erase, and you have an educate. Lymphatic is probably comparable. So lymphatic is a waveform and probably a sawtooth that is the depth of circulation and muscle. So it's probably right in between the epidermis and the dermis, because this is where we get circulation. And the circulation and the muscle contraction is what causes the lymphatic drainage. Now, something that people don't talk about a lot is microcurrent, and I can send you the study alone increases lymph. just by doing it. You don't have to do a Vater technique. You don't need to do anything fancy. Microcurrent on its own has the ability to increase lymphatic drainage up to 35% just sitting on the skin. Ah, perfect, thank you. I'll bring the vitamin A this afternoon.
Sounds good. And
Okay.
then that's for Joan too.
Yes,
All right.
yeah,
Love you.
perfect, thank you, love you too.
I love that, 35%.
Yes, and I'll send you the study. It was done out of Taiwan in the 80s. So, but Celine, will you please text me all these promises? So I'll
Absolutely.
do it. And I'm at my computer all day, so I'll take care of it. So when we're doing the lymphatic, you're getting that anyway, just having microcurrent on your skin, but you have a lymphatic program. So what I like to do is, I always start, and you probably know this, down at the décolleté into the armpit. And if this is review, then just tell me to move on. But you're just gonna go one direction, kind of swishing. And then I like to do the collarbone. And Celine, what we could do is we can create a special video, for your machine, just kind of something on that. But we're gonna go both the clavicle kind of up and down like this.
Yeah, I was actually going to reach out because we would love to do another YouTube live using the lift.
Yeah, that would be fun. And really to introduce your new thing.
Mhm.
What is it called?
The tri-wave.
The Tri-Wave. Well, it's a great name.
Yep.
So kind
It's really exciting.
of, kind of starting in the side of the neck, going out to the sternocleidomastoid, coming down. And each one you've got, so you can even hit that jaw. Put the 2 and then the bottom of that 4 along this jawline, and you're hitting the neck. So this is just a fabulous kind of thing, right out to the ear and down. So the jawline is kind of a tricky area, and a lot of times people get really trapped lymph. And this is because of many things, but let's just go with, it's a tight platysma. And so you've got a tight platysma, the head is projected forward, and many times this is due to poor breathing, poor posture, neck injuries, but the head protrudes forward about at a 40-degree angle, and this is 42 extra pounds. So now the platysma is tightening, the traps are lifting, and we're impeding lymphatic in the sternocleidomastoid. We're impeding down in the traps, and then we've got concave shoulders, and we're kind of hitting that thoracic duct. So that's why people get these big chins. We actually shouldn't even have jowls till around our 70s. So with this type of poor posture, so what you're really going to want them to do is, I'm always a big proponent on stretch. So I would have them anchor and kind of going down, and we can do this on your class, but I make them kind of moving in this area and then kind of moving. Okay, and
I'm gonna
this
take
is
one of these home and do that tonight.
your lymphatics. Okay, now the beauty is, and this is kind of where you're going to have to think about this, because lymph, being a sawtooth and assuming that it's down, it's kind of like oxygenation. So we really we're establishing a current conductivity. So think of all the hydrogen and hydroxyl molecules kind of floating around, right? So next we go to erase. And erase is a shallow. So this is more of connective tissue. This is more fine lines. This is going to plump and to kind of assist in a fuller face. So typically where I see erase used a lot is around the eye area. You really kind of see it in the eye area. And this is where you can use the 2. But remember, this is a positive and a negative. So you always have to have both sides of the unit on your face. So they can't just take one little ball, but this is really nice for your fine lines to really promote the little balls. because for feathering, this would be a really nice thing for your unit to kind of go around in this area for these fine lines. So you can anchor kind of with, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so there's some jelly.
Love it.
Kind of anchor with one and feather with the other.
And this is in erase mode.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
So, and that's the benefit, is when these are just attached on, take them off and put it, and they just keep it on the side of their bed. Nothing's clanking, nothing's falling on the ground. It's quiet. The room's still workable, and you get kind of into that area. And they feel good, don't they?
They do.
Going around the lip area. Now, we all know that lips a lot of times are going to be a deeper dynamic wrinkle, and a lot of times this is loss of collagen. So, you know, we're feathering, but I can't tell you the number of emails I get, you know, I need something more for the lip line. And I'm like, well, you need hormones. So I want to help you out, but it's more. So both of those, lymphatic and feather, are flow movements. So if you take it at the jawline, and even with like the feather, the erase, you can kind of hold here. I love it. It's called the airplane move. I go down and up. And we do this because we're not really concerned right now about the sarcomere or kind of the motor neurons in the muscle fibers. So you can do anything flowing with your first two, all right? But now we get into muscle. And this is hard because estheticians are flowers. They just like effleurate. They like the whole flowy thing, right? So you're gonna have to really get to them, kind of talking about the muscles. Now, this, I'm not a Joe Ventura Golgi tendon. It's too controversial, and it's not necessary. What we're doing here, and Joe's idea is that if we hit the Golgi tendon and insert an origin, right, then we're at this little pocket that's kind of like the candy bar wrapper, like a big peppermint mint in here, and this houses all of the motor neurons. And so Joe's idea is, if we do Golgi tendon, we don't have to do all of the muscle. But basically, the program is geared in the waveform to go down to the muscle. So when we go down to the muscle, this is the coolest thing. We really can trap that muscle in between these probe, or the two sides of the probe. So you're holding, and now we're getting that direct connection, and it's just kind of going through the muscle fibers, and it triggers an action potential within those muscle fibers that creates a minute type of contraction. And this contraction requires ATP. And so first off, what we're saying to this is, wow, to the body, this muscle apparently is being used differently than just our average talking. It needs a little bit more ATP. So it gets ATP because the hydrogen electron from the probe goes through, and that's kind of borrowed in the ATP cycle. But also it's signifying to the body that more ATP, the body may have to produce more ATP to handle this new function of what the muscle is doing. It doesn't know. All it knows is the body's being called to create more ATP. The body tries to please and do that. So whenever you kind of trap in these areas, we want to hold. And we want to hold because these are electrons, right? They're like little floating things, photons that we can't see, but they're electrons. And it's got to navigate the impedance of the skin. And the impedance of the skin can be oil, just oily skin. It could be that they've done a ton of injections. And so now they've got fascial adhesions. And so holding really helps the electrons find their flow and pattern to reach the sarcomere to get the most potential lift or plumping. And I really, really always say it's really a plumping and kind of a reflection. We're not building muscle. We're not going to, you know, walk away with like weightlifter cheekbones or something. It just is, we're plumping, we're giving the skin the antioxidants that it needs, helps with free radicals. And so when you talk to your clients, I always just say, just do it. If you can only do it 5 minutes, do lymph every morning. Just do it. And you will see a difference. And just, you know, hold a challenge. You know, send me your best before and after picture. And we can probably partner with something with you on that we could send them something, you know, with that. So we can throw that on the idea table.
Yeah, it would be nice to get that in the brochure. Send us a picture of your before and afters, track your progress, send us the pictures, get some special points or rewards. Yeah.
Exactly. And what they could do is maybe we could do another video and they could be on it. We could assess it and give them a personal workout or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So what are the questions?
So this last one you did, that was the build. When we're
Mhm.
holding it in place, we're using the build, and that's penetrating, the vibration is penetrating to the muscle layer. When
Yes.
we're doing our erase, it's a very light wave and it's just getting that fascia layer. When we
Yep.
do the rejuve, it's getting to the lymphatic and more drainage and cellular layer.
Right. Now, the one thing, and you have to be careful because in the new research and kind of with fascia is basically your extracellular matrix. Fascia is the stratum corneum through the bone. You've got different densities and different layers. So fascia is everyththing. And as estheticians, it's going to be another 10 years before schools teach it. But
Okay.
it's just the superficial connective tissue, because you can really kind of just hydrate the moment. And I have to find this Israeli study, but it was, it hydrates the tissue for up to a half an hour after. It's not a permanent hydration. If you're chronically dehydrated, microcurrent isn't going to fix, you know, the world, but it does. The longer you have microcurrent on your skin, the better your results, because you're hydrating and electricity takes the path of least resistance. And there's least resistance when your tissue is hydrated.
Okay. Anybody else have comments or questions?
I do. Sorry, my video is not on. Jane, I would just really love to, if you wouldn't mind, like your elevator pitch for the lift, just because we get clients that write, and as you know, we have our live chats, and they're just like, really quickly, why do I need this tool? And I would just love to hear your verbiage for that.
That's a great question. I don't really, why they need this tool is it's a multi-purpose probe that you can't go wrong. In microcurrent, the spacing can be off. The probe might not be accurate in its amortizing of the current. And it's something that you can use and fits every face. It's lightweight. For somebody in the treatment room, it's amazing. For a consumer, it removes the questioning. When, you know, I have a lot of consumer followers and they want, like, even the gloves confuse them. I don't know what to do with the gloves. This takes the guesswork out. When you use this probe, you know the distance is perfect. You know that the amperage is being executed in the right fashion, and there's no guesswork. It fits around the eyes, and it's also compatible with your, I mean, not compatible, it's just compactable to travel with, if you want to travel with it. When I went to London, I just used it every single day. And one of my roommates, she was an esthetician. She's like, oh my God, you do that all the time, don't you? And I'm like, it's just so easy. Why wouldn't I do it every morning just to wake up my skin? Like, why? The lift makes it accessible to use all the time. Watching Netflix, you know, anything. You don't have to worry so much.
Right.
And this is between us, but we all have our marketing, gimmick to it, right? So
Right.
you've got Tama, they say their waveform is this. You've got, Joe, he's got a dynamic. Everybody's got it. But microcurrent's the magic.
Mhm.
It's it. It's a millionth of an amp. That's what the studies are done. It doesn't matter. It just matters it's effectively placed on the skin in a
Right.
way that the electrons connect. And that's what this is. So it's a no-brainer. You don't have to worry about it. And
I just love that you don't have to worry that you're using, pulling the muscle in the wrong way, that you're increasing the droop,
exactly. And
that
I
you're
like to
going in the right direction. You're not reinforcing negative things in your
No.
skin because you don't know. My clients don't know where an insertion is and an origin.
You removed
Yeah.
all of the barriers of entry as far as can I do this? And so one thing, and you can do this just even later. So now, right now we've got positive and negative going horizontally, but then you can turn it and crosshatch, and there's nothing wrong with that. So sometimes I'll say, even with muscle, I'll start here, I come up to 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 here. Then I go here, 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 here. So it's not like rocket science. We're not making this, all of the fancy moves that everybody has. It's not working. It's just
No.
the current on the skin at the proper amplitude or depth that you're trying to reach. It's pretty easy.
Thank you. I love that. And I
It
love
wasn't
my
an elevator speech, but you took notes and you can create your own. And
exactly. No, I really love that. Thank you. I love my Anma. I use it before bed while I'm watching TV.
well, we have I'm glad you do. But what you could do too is maybe with the lift. Here's the thing: is I was just looking. Like you buy and manufacture like 2,000 or 3,000. 1,000 are always thrown out because there's going to be something. There'll be like something, and Crystal's a little bit too cautious of everything. But if you ever like want some, they aren't perfect, but they're pretty. But there'll be something. Let me know and we'll send them out, because otherwise I just throw them out. I don't know what to do with them. They just sit in a bin till I get frustrated that the bin is a loss of money.
Talking about the Anmas or the lift?
The Anmas.
The Anmas, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody should have one of those. If you don't, let us know. We'll make sure you get one.
Yeah, because it is, and there's so much to go with this, but starting with the Anma first makes a huge difference. It really does. Starting with that, you get the circulation, that's the blood flow, that's the oxygenation, and then doing
Let's
this.
talk about that, Jane. So if you have a lift, do you need an Anma as well?
Absolutely.
And then what would you do? You'd use your Anma first, and then you go in and do the work with your lift.
Yeah, and I really do a lot in my scalp, the neck, and just kind of going over, because we're getting instant blood flow, and then we've loosened up a lot of stuff. So when you go in to do your lymph, it's just more effective.
Okay, makes sense.
What would be the reason to use the Anma instead of just using the lift unplugged?
That's a good question. I feel the ball bearings are nice, but
They're
you
not
could.
comfy on the scalp though.
No, it gets the ball. You get hair in there.
Yeah,
so
they can pull your hair.
One. But a lot of times I will do oxygenation and use it like the Anma. I just kind of go over it, and then I would do that. So, for that person. But if you would ever do like a gift with purchase type thing, then, they have both, and they can maintain it. They can take the Anma with them in the car, on, anywhere. It's just all over.
I think we should do a set. It would be nice to sell a little set with a little bit of incentive, maybe a free oil or something, or a conductive gel or something. That would be
Yeah.
nice.
Well, and you work with Neogenesis, so that could be, and I can order wider tubes if you do like a kickoff or something like that. And we could package them maybe with like a divider in between or something like that.
Okay. Oh yeah, that'd be fun to have both
Yeah,
devices
or a
in
Mother's
one
Day
tube.
promotion if you want to do Mother's Day.
Great idea, Jane. You're a natural marketer.
No, I'm not. I'm the worst. I love creating this stuff. And I love, honestly, working with someone like you.
Okay.
Because it's not my thing. I like
Yeah.
researching. I love the fascia. I love teaching fascia.
Well, and I love working with people like you that take that knowledge to the little nitty gritty and develop these things that work so great. And then I get to have the benefit of your brain. And I'm not marketer, so I'll tell the
Yeah,
story.
that's
and
why it's such
get
a
it
nice
sold.
synergy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's think about that. That could be fun. We have
Yeah.
all of our new jewel tone colors in stock. And
Okay.
so we could just choose a color that could be exclusive to you.
Okay.
See, let me send you a package of the new colors.
Okay.
You
That
guys
would be
can kind of
great.
look at it.
Yeah, let's
What do
choose
you
one.
think?
That would be great.
That would be fun.
I do have another question, Jane. So this is, you're going to laugh because it's such a rudimentary question, right? When I'm using my Anma in the evening, you know, especially after I got used to the movement of limbs, really when I learned my face with the tool, sometimes I just get lost in it, you know, especially if I'm just like reading on my Kindle or just watching TV, I'll find myself, I caught myself having done like a 35-minute Anma routine. But, you know, whenever a client is asking us, you know, how long do I really have to use this? If they're using it every day, let's say they're waking up and they're waking up their skin, what would you say is your golden number of at least this many minutes? Do you have one?
I'd say like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Then
I love that. I'm the 5-minute girl.
Yeah, 5 minutes. But here's why you want to do it every day. Because every night when you go to sleep, fascia creates a fuzz. And the fuzz is in between so muscles move kind of over one another, right? But instinctively, you notice cats and dogs kind of stretching. When you wake up, you just kind of want to stretch because instinctively your body is getting rid of this fascia fuzz. And we don't think of this. We do it with our limbs, but we don't do it with our face. We're not like, you know, and it's very hard. So the reason to do this is we're really keeping that circulation. We're removing that fascia fuzz in the face.
I love that. Thank you.
Fascia fuzz.
Yeah.
That's good. Really good. Perfect.
All right, ladies, what other questions?
I think we're good.
Good.
Not hearing any more questions. So I think we're excited. We'll probably have more questions when we go live on the show because we'll all have been doing it for a while and we'll figure out where we get stuck.
So let's, you can coordinate with Ashley.
Yeah.
Fridays seem to work for us both.
Okay.
So we can do that. And then kind of in between, what I can do is kind of create a routine or an idea of a routine. Okay. And then we'll kind of, you can debut it. When do you come out with it?
We pre-sold 18 and now we had a production holdup on one of the parts coming from China. And, you know, they had a freeze because of COVID. They had a big freeze in China again. So we are, we're hoping for maybe 3rd or 4th week of February to have our next 100 come in.
Good.
That would be great. Let's see if maybe we can do it in the beginning of March.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
So fun.
What is going to be the price point of your unit?
I think it's $795. Is that right, Celine?
That's correct.
I think it's $695.
It's $795.
Oh, my bad. You're right. $795.
Are you going to sell it more to professionals or?
No, we're selling it retail to our
to everybody.
are ladies that love devices and love being their own esthetician, doing their own things at home treatments and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. If I can support you in any way, let me know.
I will. Thank you so much.
All right.
It's been a great day. Thanks.
Great. Thank you,
Thank you,
ladies.
Jane.
Thank
I'll send this
you.
video off to you. Okay. Bye.